Hey, yo, Outliers. Len May is the founder of EndoDNA, a self-taught polymath using genetics and AI to drag medicine out of the age of sick care into something radical, finding the root cause and treating every human as the individual they are. An immigrant who's already built and exited companies, he's now raising his Series B to scale a platform that could change how the world does health. But the next level of vision this big was never going to be one on strategy or capital. Those he's got. It'll be one on people. So what does it take to get the people around you to carry the mission like it's burning in their own chest? Let's get into the room and find out. I'm familiar with like everything is personal. Like, so if I'm getting you right, like underneath all this here, it's like rather than being able to just come out and say like, here goes a generic thing based on things, you're able to provide this diagnostic that helps the doctors be able to come out and be like, hey, specifically for you, or more at least more personalized to you. Here goes how this is what we might recommend, or this is how like where we might take things. Am I getting that generally right?
Yeah, so it starts with your genetics, your
Yep.
DNA,
Hmm.
and then all your actual biomarkers.
Hmm.
Then the platform reviews everything. The doctors
Hmm.
can chat with your DNA, can ask any questions, and it comes up with a treatment plan suggestion. And the
Okay.
treatment plan suggestion is threefold. The first is anything that's pharmaceutical, so anything that they have to prescribe. The second is anything that's non-RX, so it can be supplements, can be nutrients, can be peptides or exosomes, things of that nature. And the third is lifestyle modifiers. So that means
Nice.
diet, exercise, can be red light therapy, sauna. And I'm not saying that that's not, there are other platforms that do something like that. What
Mhm.
makes us unique is not only that we have a patent on this, but also I kind of say now, so what? So now that you have this information, how do you know that that protocol, that treatment plan is specifically working for you? Well, that
Mm.
feedback loop is where we actually makes us unique. So number one, you have patient reported outcomes. So you get to speak back on how you're feeling with this protocol. Number
Nice.
two, you have changes in biomarkers. You have your wearable device data. And number three, you have epigenetic expression. So we can measure what's been turned on, what's been turned off. It goes back into the platform, and the platform starts making suggested adjustments to that. So it's always getting ahead of those issues so we can do real healthcare, preventative healthcare, and focusing on health span and extending that.
I love this here, Len. Like, what I want to do here is we're going to include this in the conversation. We're going to have outliers get a chance to get to know you and the game that you're playing right now through this lens here, right? For any outlier that wants, now we're going to shift our focus. But I want to check in for any outlier that wants to know more about this, is excited about this, and wants to go deeper down in your world. Would you mind letting them know? Why don't we do two things? Why don't we let them know if they want to go like down in your world and hear more about you from like the podcast perspective, see some of your other perspectives there, like where they can go. And if they're like, hey, look, I'm either a physician or I'm really interested in what you're saying, where can they go for more of that?
endodna.com. They
Mhm.
can reach out there or any of my social. Len May everywhere. Except I think Instagram, Len May DNA. And I do a podcast, as you mentioned. It's called Everything is Personal. So if anybody wants to be in a show or check it out, you can go anywhere you listen or watch podcasts, the YouTube channel, but it's called Everything is Personal.
All right, cool. Let's also just like since we're in this mode here, let's let outliers just really jump in here. You also have some books here. Why don't you let us know about them as well, and then we're gonna switch gears.
Yeah. So one our first test, the way we got into the genetic space, we created a test for your endocannabinoid system. So we actually have a patent on the use of DNA to make recommendations associated with the endocannabinoid system. And I wrote a book on that. It's called Making Cannabis Personal. And you can get that on Amazon or wherever you get books. And then one of the things that started happening was, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a kid, or 14 actually officially, but it's something I had all my life. And I learned how to use this to my advantage, I think. But I was given a talk somewhere, and this guy was introducing me, and he called me an autodidactic polymath. I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, all right, let me go research that. I'm from Philly, so my Philly kind of came out a little bit like,
Okay.
what do you call me? Kind of thing. But then I researched, I'm like, oh, all right. So it's somebody who can actually utilize their expertise and have multiple things that they're an expert in based on their level of interest. So I'm like, well, that sounds like me. There's no direct straight line. It's all over the place. And I started reading a book on polymath. So I started discovering that. I'm like, this sounds interesting. This sounds familiar. And then I was raised the question. I was like, I wonder if these people that they're talking about in the book, I wonder if they also have some other neurodivergence. And they talked about people like Leonardo da Vinci, for instance. And, we know that he's a painter, obviously, and he's an inventor. He did so many different things and he completed, hundreds of different projects. And it took him 10 years to complete the Mona Lisa. And for all the hundreds that he did complete, thousands were left unfinished. So I'm like, all right, let me follow this down this path. And I realized that a lot of the people who are highlighted as polymaths and then also, billionaires, they have some neurodivergence, like 80% of them. And a lot of them had ADHD, among other things. So I'm like, I wonder if there's a connection between ADHD and polymathy. And I started researching it, and there was no book that I could find. So I decided to write one. So I wrote a book, there's a lot of genetics in it, but it's a book called, I'll hold it up for the audience, Jack of All Trades, Master of Some, is a connection between ADHD and polymathy, rewiring the modern genius. So this is a pretty hefty book. It's 400 and some pages, which for somebody who's somebody with ADHD would be like, yeah, I don't think so. So what I did was, you may not never see this again, but this book has no page numbers. There's no page numbers. I did it on purpose because you can go in and you can pull out a section. You just want to read section 23, go ahead. And so you're not going to be intimidated with reading a 400 page plus book. You can just go section to section if you choose to do so.
I like to see how like the Outlier just continues to live through like a book without page numbers. Like I honestly like it's so interesting to me how I didn't even think that I like that wouldn't be included. So Len, I appreciate that. I actually grew up outside of Philly on the New Jersey side. So if you're familiar with Cherry Hill, Camden, like I grew up in a place called Pennsauken. So like I'm very
I used to go to Pennsauken Mart all the time when I was a kid. So
there
I'm
we
very
go.
familiar with it. So let me ask you a question since you were a South Jersey guy. Eagles?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, go
For
Birds.
sure. I was just there. So we're recording this at the end of June 2026. I flew in, spent some time with my family. Went to watch the Ghana Croatia game just on Saturday. So no. We're good. It was actually my first time in Lincoln Financial. I was like, oh, like now that I know how this works, we're in. Awesome, Len. So why don't we do this? I want to I want to like switch our hats right now for the rest of this conversation. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Outliers have gotten a chance to get to know you. We've been able to share some things around here. And it's already apparent, like just with what you choose to pursue, how you think about things, and like, yeah, just the examples of like the nuances of how you make things available to people that like you operate in an outlier frame. All right. What I want to do for the rest of this conversation is to really be here in support of you. The way I say it is like we put outliers to the side. They will come and get whatever they need to get to. I think similar, maybe what I found is that like oftentimes whenever I've tried to like teach something specifically in this platform, what people get happens on a deeper level. And so I could never really point out, I'm like, this is what you got, right? They're like, no, in that moment when you had that connection about Philadelphia, I'm like, all right, I'm out. So what I want to do is give ourselves the space to not have to worry about them. They'll get what they need to get from it. And I trust Outliers to do that. The rest of this conversation is going to be focused on you, right? And so what I'm going to ask you to do in a bit is to bring in something that is important to you, something that you're building right now, something that's not finished, and we're going to talk through it. I'm going to come in. I'll bring in my coaching questions. I'll jam with you on it, and we'll see what we can create. And I told you this before we got started here, but like, I don't want this to be a performance. I don't want us to like have any pressure on this here. Like we'll talk. It's my gift to you. And if it ends up being something that we want to go share with people afterwards, great. If not, like you're also covered. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Sounds
All
good.
right. All right, cool. So we're already in good space, but I really want to make sure that this ends up being of value to you. So I'm gonna like to create 3 agreements with you. It's about how I'm going to show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
1, I'm going to hide nothing and hold nothing back, Len. Are you good with that?
Yes.
All right, cool. 2, I'm here to serve you, not to please you or platform you. Are you good with that?
Yes.
All right. And then the third thing is that I have a series of having life changing conversations at this point in my life. Like that's just the way that things go. Are you open to this being a positive, life changing conversation?
Absolutely.
I go ahead and add that positive part after a while because I'm like, oh, I'm messing with I'm messing with reality a bit here. All right, cool. Well, then let's start off there. Like this is we put in the frame of life changing. I like to leave space to see like what actually comes up when we put that on the table. So for you, Len, what would make this a life changing conversation for you?
Well, my goal right now is to complete my Series B and
Hmm.
scale my company.
Lovely.
This is my goal. And whatever that takes us, exit, not exit, doesn't matter, but that is the focus. Um, so probably, not probably, definitely, the completion of that is going to make a really positive impact on the world, which in turn makes a really positive impact back on me.
Yep. All right, cool. So let's talk about this here. Why would that be life changing for you? Out of all the things that could be happening, like why would talking about that be life changing? I think is the difference. Like let me understand that.
Yeah. So let me just kind of go back and kind of give you some fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
So I was born in Lithuania and I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 6, 7 years old. As I already mentioned, I moved to Philly. I live in LA now for the last 16, almost 17 years. But I grew up in Philly and I came with my parents and my mom's parents, my grandparents. In the first year and a half or being in the US, my grandfather had a stroke and he proceeded, and he was a big guy. My grandma was really small, and he proceeded like half his body got paralyzed and couldn't talk, and it was really impactful and traumatic to see a guy who was this big, powerful guy become not so powerful, and all these things were taken away, and he proceeded to have many health issues. And never forget, my grandmother, my mom would sit there at the table, in the kitchen with bags of prescription medication, bags of them. And they would call the doctors, and doctors like, oh, well, this happened because of the side effect of this medication. This happened because these medications had a contraindication. So I always had a fear of prescription medication. And when I was put on prescription medication for for my ADHD, I took it for a little bit and I stopped taking all my life and I switched to plant medicine and all that stuff. So I choose not to consume prescription medication. I'm not saying that nobody else should. It's my choice. And one of the things why this is so important, I believe that we have a system in this country, a lot of different countries, but I'm focusing on the US right now. We have a system of sick care. We do a fantastic job in acute healthcare, meaning that if I have a fracture, I have to have a surgery, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. What we do have an issue is chronic conditions. And we're very fast at giving somebody a pill or a shot. So I'll give you an example. If I go to the doctor and my elbow hurts and I'm going to go in with my pain in my elbow, the doctor has solutions for me. So he says, hey, did you hit your elbow? No. Were you playing tennis? No. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but you know what? I have a solution. I have an injection. I can give you an injection shot, or I can give you a painkiller, something that's an analgesic. Well, two things happen. First of all, we're pain adverse as people in America for the most part. We don't like pain. Second of all, doctors are supposed to do no harm. So they have tools that are available to them, which is a pill or a shot. Great, I'll take the shot because it's instantaneous. So I win, my pain is gone. So the doctor did what they were supposed to do. The doctor pats himself in the back and says, I did no harm and I alleviated the symptom that my patient complained about. So I did a really, really good thing. The issue is neither one of us knows what the root cause is. And we never got to the bottom of the root cause. Pain is a signal that something is going on. So one of my goals in life is to create a platform where it is everybody's treated like an individual. It's not take two of these and call me in the morning. Why not four? Why not one? So I believe genetics are big, kind of your life's GPS. And it's important to know where your potholes are in the road. And we should be treated as individuals and then know and learn what works for you versus what works for me, etc. And the idea is it's to not extend longevity. I had an aunt that passed away a couple of years ago. She was 102 years old. Well, the last 15 years of her life, I don't think she was living a really good life. She was existing, but not living. So the idea is you extend health span. So I want to modify my vessel to the best of its ability so I can live a long, healthy life. And the way to do that is to get to the root cause and prevent these things from happening. So for me, this is a huge goal. And getting myself to scale, the business to scale, will create this platform for doctors that we can actually leverage for everyone who's a functional medical professional. And then in turn, that's going to be a life changing experience for me, not only business trajectory, but I'm actually making an impact in the world.
If you're a leader with a track record of success and there's a vision you're ready to bring to life that feels outrageous right now, I have an invitation for you. Outlier's Edge is a world for different minded, like hearted leaders who are owning what makes them different to make a world of difference. And at the center of that world is a weekly coaching room where we bring the visions that just won't leave us alone. We get coached, stay accountable, and build alongside others, creating something different. If you're pursuing something that's too big, too early, or too improbable for most rooms, this is your room. Go to outliersedge.com/world and come in as my guest. Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel that this is not just something where you're like, I just want I'm just approaching this here. You brought up something then I want to play in, right? So because I'm going to be here to support, all right, and whichever way I can. So your focus right now is on the Series B, and you talked about symptoms versus root cause. So if you had to put out right now, what would you say is like the root cause behind like either where you are right now or yeah, let's look at this and say like, all right, what's the root cause that's keeping you from getting that right now, or what's the thing you want to that gets underneath the surface of it all?
There are a couple of issues. So number one is we made a pivot. Okay. We made a pivot in late 2024. I made a decision to stop the direct consumer sale. We have tens of thousands of customers in our direct to consumer channel. And I got a call from a doctor friend of mine. She said, hey, I'm seeing a lot of young women, late 20s, early 30s with perimenopause symptoms. And I'm seeing a lot of women who are in menopause who have really adverse effects of menopause, like hot flash severity, frequency, weight gain, sleep. Is there a way that we can get ahead of these things? So I always say yes, and then I figure it out later. So yeah, of course we can, and work with my team, and we build our female hormone health test, then our male hormone health test, etc. So the first thing we did was we pivoted. We stopped the direct-to-consumer channel and started focusing on B2B. So that's one. So scaling a business that's already established, that's been there, but making a complete pivot, that's a challenge to overcome. So that's one of the things that we have to work through and sort of start again, but not start from scratch. Number two, that called for a redevelopment of our entire platform. So it changed everything from a technology standpoint, which has been a very challenging, very, very difficult process. I don't oversee engineering. I have a business partner who does. And it's been an extreme challenge to be able to get my vision, work on my patients, and make sure that we're doing what we said we're going to do in a timely manner. So those are some of the obstacles that I'm, dealing with. It's I like to underpromise and overdeliver, and other people do the opposite. They overpromise and underdeliver. So being able to align those things are really, some of the obstacles that we're trying to get past.
I love this. Yeah. So as I hear this, I'm paying attention to a couple of things. One of the things I get about you is, well, let me just ask you, like, why did you make the change? I like to ask like the simple questions here, but it's like you had a business, it was running tens of thousands of clients, like you had things working for you. Mm-hmm. You got the call, you saw that there was something you could do, and then you ended up like making the pivot. Like just so I get to understand you a bit more, yeah. Why did you choose that?
There are two reasons why. The first reason is because the patients or the consumers, they still needed to go somewhere. So they get all the results, they get in a platform, and now so what? They still have to go to a doctor or somebody to go help them decipher it and give them a protocol. So this, I said, well, if we do this to the practitioners, now they become our sales agents per se. So we sell one, and then they become the ambassador, the distributor, whatever you want to call it. Number two, I started looking at the numbers, and the cost of acquisition for a consumer was very high. It reduced our margins. And the cost of a doctor to pursue a doctor is the same, but now the doctor becomes that sales agent and is able to provide the platform to all of their patients. So that's one of the main reasons. So those two reasons.
All right, cool. So I'm following you on this here. You have the distributed base here. You have someone that like now can continue to essentially your customer now becomes the doctor in addition to the actual end user, and that continues to proliferate. And like for the same cost, you're able to get way more from it. Am I getting that right? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on. All right, cool. So let's go back here to like the life-changing component of it all, right? Because I really want to like right now I think I'm understanding your world, right? But we haven't brought in anything yet to like go and really play with yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, let's just swing for the fences on this one here, right?
Yeah.
How can I help you, Len? Like this might be it might be a little less like in the external part, and it might be a little bit more about you, or it might be something else. But like I want to be in support. What can I do to support you?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things is when you're starting a business, and it's within a business, some of the questions that you asked, funding. So when you're going out and you're getting your Series B, and your investors are, well, let me see your P&L for the year and all that stuff. So I need to explain to them that we were going down this road, and now we made a choice to go down this road. So our financials, the impact on our financials are we're taking that revenue, we're reinvesting it into new software, and we're building a new platform. So if you're looking at my numbers, you're going to see the impact on my numbers. What you need to do is believe in me and believe in my vision and believe in what we're going to do. So to convey that to individual investors, family offices, or VCs, if they're just looking at numbers, that's going to be something they're probably going to say, you know what, these guys, I'm not sure if we want to invest in them. But, listening to a lot of my mentors out there in Silicon Valley, they look to see what is the vision of the founder, and can this founder achieve what their vision is and how impactful it's going to be. So that messaging, I really need to get that out more in front of people. I need to be out in front of people to have that conversation. And so that's the number one thing. The second thing is it's this notion of control. So I like to delegate, but I like to delegate and check. Engineering has been one of my biggest issues. So I've in the past, I've run very large teams. I used to work for like Price Waterhouse, PwC. I used to manage large teams and other companies. So, but I don't want to be the project manager, and I don't want to micromanage the project manager. So holding my team, holding them accountable, but it's actually my business partner who oversees engineering, making sure that we are on point. We say we're going to deliver something at this date, and there's accountability along the way. I want us to be able to get into a habit of doing that. So we are aligning those expectations. And that's been a little bit of a challenge too. And maybe it's resources, I don't know, but getting that passion from me, and I always kind of come back to myself as accountability.
Yeah.
That passion for me has to resonate to everybody else.
Tell me more about this passion from you right now, because that was one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking about the pivot story. Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, my mission is a very big mission.
Yeah.
And I think I do a really good job of motivating people.
Yes.
But where I think, just between you and I, the conversation we're having as friends, and, just having this conversation, the enthusiasm of people that I bring on board starts to fall off if we are not doing what we said we're going to do in a timely manner. So
for you or for them?
For them, not for me. For me, I'm always on. For them, like I brought in a team to do our marketing,
Yep.
and they've asked, okay, we said we're going to deliver so and so by this date, so everybody's prepared. We have our press releases, we have all these things, and there's delays and delays, and it continues to delay. And I understand, iterative development, it's difficult, but these kind of things are more than just a delay in our engineering. It's a trickle down or trickle up effect. If you're saying you're going to do something at a certain time and you don't, and it happens, you have to let people know, I will not deliver by so and so date, but I will deliver by so and so date.
Yep.
So these are the habits that I'm trying to instill from the engineering, and it's just been really um, stressful experience, I would say.
Got you. So if I'm hearing you right, then let me make sure I'm capturing this right. You visionary, passionate, and you're like high integrity, right? And you're like, if I say I'm going to do something, we're going to get it done. Now,
Right.
what I also get from you is that you're like, I'm also like, I get that things happen, and then you really, really like respect communication, right? You're like, and what I think I'm also hearing from you is like, there's a level of communication that could be kind of more top down, or like, following in, like, hey, where's this at? Project management, like kind of consistently pushing behind it. And there's another level of communication that you're like, that I think you're saying like, what I want is proactivity. I need people to be proactive one way or the
Yeah.
other. Like, I know that you're a professional. We hired you for a reason, but like the proactive communication, so that I don't have to go down and chase it, but instead we're looking at something else here. Like that's a big discerning part for you. It looks like you have something you have to take care of. You want to take care of that really quickly, and then we
I
can
was
continue.
making a note.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Feel free to write down anything. But like, there's what's coming to you as I say this, as I share some things back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I wrote down being more proactive. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's being more proactive and communicative across the board is that allows everybody to be on the same page and alignment. And when we're working in silos without that proper communication
Yeah.
and that high level of integrity,
Yeah.
I want everybody to feel like it's their business, and it is, because
Yep.
everybody has equity in the company. And look, I had this conversation with like a Gary V one time. He's like,
Yeah.
look, you're an owner of a company, you're a founder. It's unfair for you to have the same expectations of everybody else in the company.
Mhm.
True, but they are owners as well. They have there's shares in the company. And I don't care what they do, if they work an hour a day, if they work 20 hours a day, it doesn't matter to me. But it's this intention that we are going to be proactive and we want this company to succeed. And I'm going to take steps. You don't have to wait for me to say anything. I'm going to be proactive, exactly what you said, in doing what I think I'm going to do so we can all align at the same exact prize at the end.
Yeah. So like you said, the price, what's coming to me is before I ended up here, my seat was in culture, learning and development and culture at a tech company. And before then I was in human capital at one of the big four consulting companies. So I listened to this, and the two things that are coming to me as you're talking is I'm like, since it seems it's coming up consistently right now, right? I'm playing in my mind and saying, how do we go upstream, and in which way is Len creating this for himself, right? Those are the two questions that I'm asking here, because I'm like, let's play it out, right? So one side of me wants to go down like the culture side, and you talk about prize, and my mind goes to like recognition and rewards, and like what gets rewarded there. And the other side of my goes to like the actual process of hiring or taking on who you choose to like bring on the team or have vendors and so on and so forth. Now, there's still also the real world component of like, yeah, but this is what we already have. Like, this is the team we currently have. So if we need to go in that direction, let's go there. But I am curious here. I'll ask it more broadly, since I put in those two here. Like, in what ways do you feel that like you are creating this?
So I brought in, when during COVID,
Yeah.
we had a big office with a lot of people, and we had to downsize and make some modifications. And during COVID, I came to a realization that we can build a distributed team. We don't all have to be. It's nice to get it together, but we can all be remote. And we made those changes. And then I decided one of the things that we're also going to do is we're going to bring in teams that already are doing something, entrepreneurial teams. So our marketing team are people that have an agency already that have been experienced in marketing and PR and advertising. So we brought them in and we provided them earned in equity, like equity to start, but earned in
Yeah.
equity, a plan so they can participate in the growth of the company and then provide them a piece of something they can build on their own because they wanted to build their own brand and all these other things. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in entrepreneurs in this. If you have the seed, you can plant it and make it grow. Like we do have developers, so we hire and all that stuff, but they're just hired people that are here to do a job, not here to grow with the company. And if I see this in somebody that they are, as you said, proactive, they're entrepreneurial, they're self starters, and all those other things, I want to give them a piece of the company so they feel that whatever they're putting in, that they can flourish and get something out of it when whatever that exit comes. My shareholders, they're all my partners. So I don't know if that's the right or wrong thing. This is what I would want somebody to do for me because I
Yeah.
worked for several companies and I exited out of two other companies, but I did corporate for a while. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm making you guys all this money. I'm
Yeah.
getting a salary. I want a
Yeah.
piece of the action. This is what
Yeah.
I would want. And this is the
Question for
way
you.
I'm bringing in those people.
Question for you then. Just playing this out again. This conversation. I'm gonna go with simple questions on this one. So you talked about this is what you would want. You also are an entrepreneur and you've created you like you found a way to like create a whole pot of equity to then go out with it. Is it what they want? And I like
Yeah.
yeah. Let me check in.
They've asked for it. So when I met with them, even the person who runs sales for us,
Mm,
she came in asking for a tremendous amount of salary,
yep.
and I was like, can't do it. They're like, well, maybe we can do something else. Maybe I can do it on a fractional basis and put in X amount of hours if there is an opportunity to earn in. So I said, yeah, let's create a plan. This will be the amount of hours. This is my actual plan for sales that I need you to do. Hit these numbers, and when you do, not just numbers, like
Yeah,
different
I get
things,
you. I get you. Yeah.
you will earn an equity. So it's a third, and a third of whatever that we're getting you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the kind of people that I want to bring in.
Okay. So let's slow down a little bit here because what I'm hearing is conviction, like from a strategy perspective, like what I'm hearing is I'm like, Len, this makes sense, right? Like and you're aligned for yourself and like, hey, look, like you create an environment where everyone literally can be bought in, and they can earn in, right? And the thing that is being created can be created, right? So I want to pull back a little bit there because I'm paying attention to hear to see like all right where's the real where's the actual edge and where's the actual like needle mover for you because like what I'm getting is like you've thought through some of these things and you're not doing anything just you're not doing it out of ignorance per
Mm-hmm.
se, right? Like, and what I mean is that if you knew how to get people to be as proactive as you want, you'd be doing that, right? But
Yeah.
this is a well thought out like strategy on your part. So we don't need to like go into that so much. So like let's take a step in really quickly, and I'm leaning two directions. I'll go on this one. Um, what's the question I should be asking you that hasn't like come up in this conversation yet? What's the thing you would like to explore? What's the thing?
You didn't ask me about my partner,
Yeah.
and so the question you should be asking me probably is, what is your relationship with your partner? I have shareholders, but I have one partner that I started this company with. And
Mhm.
what was the role, the goal, and the expectations of each other? And are we fulfilling those? That's question one. Second question is, because this is new to me, what do you do with a partner, not an employee? If you had an employee that was doing the things that somebody did that is your partner, there's ways to be able to handle that. There's you can let an employee go. There's all kinds of different ways that you can either incentivize it, you carrot sticks kind of thing. But with a partner, what do you do? So what is that's I don't know. That's something we can talk about as well.
Let's talk through it because like there is one, you brought it up earlier, right? When you brought it in here, you're like, look, here goes the thing. It's like this is what's taking place here with the business partner, and that partner is overseeing engineering, correct?
Correct.
Right. And the other thing here, as you were talking about like all the different people on the team, I was like, where do the leaders play in all this for you? All right.
Mm.
All right. And so like let's go right now, to go straight up. So we started with you. Now we're going to your partner here. So like let's I don't have the answer for you on this one yet, right? Or I don't know if I have it at all. So like I'm gonna relieve myself from that. But like what I would like to do is give you some room to go and explore it. You down for that?
Yep.
All right, cool. So let's just start off here with just like expectations. Like let's get on what were the roles, conditions, and such that y'all came in here. And let me. I realize I used the word expectations. Let me change the word expectations versus agreements. Right. That's a really big distinction for me. So where tell me about the expectations that you may have right now. What are the agreements that y'all two came into this with?
Yeah. So the expectations were when we first met. I had an idea, and I actually wrote it all out on paper and drew it all out because I'm also an artist, so I can't program really. Well, I can with call code now, but I can draw or paint. So I had this concept, and I needed somebody to build it. My business partner told me, volunteered, and told me that this is something that he can build for me, Adam, which, that was the expectation. The agreement was we're going in, there's a certain percentage, me and he, we started this together and went out. We put in some money ourselves, bootstrapped. We got small friends and family around, and we got started. And the first thing that I learned is that he brought in his ex boss to work for us to build the platform. So I was like, well, you're the tech guy. Now we're spending money paying this person more than you and I both are paid each other because we weren't really to build something of this platform. Now that's one. So initially, the agreement and the expectations were misaligned immediately. Going forward, we raised our Series A. We then used that to invest in the vision and build everything out. At some point, the person we brought on wasn't happy. He got a different gig, like a big paying publicly traded company, and he left. So we realized that a lot of things were hard coded in and painted us in a corner, and nobody could pick up any of this, and it was breaking. So now we had to, instead of fixing with like patches everywhere, and we had to hire other people because my business partner wasn't capable of doing it or didn't have the skill set or whatever you want to call it. So ended up, through this pivot and all this, we ended up rebuilding the platform. Same exact thing, overseeing it. And the ideas are great. It's wonderful, but the execution is what's lacking. So I've always gotten to a point, and we've had this conversation so many times. It's the same thing, is that it's this proactive and high integrity. When you say some to people, you're going to do something. And when you're building a project plan, you have tasks. With those tasks, there's dependencies and there's due dates. And if you miss one, obviously it's a cascading effect. So the idea of communication and being proactive, that is something that I think we still haven't been able to get past. And I'm trying to figure out, and there's been a lot of carrot conversations and dangling. If you do this, we get this. There were some stick conversations as well. So that's the thing. And I'm not sure. I'm looking for an answer because I don't know if there is one, but I'll be transparently able to hold my cards on the table. So whatever questions you have, I'm happy to, talk about it.
All right, cool. Like, so what I appreciate your candor with this, right? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to meet that also with my own candor. There's some questions here where I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask this question, so I'm going to ask it, right? And like, and yeah. So there's elements of this where the things that are coming from me are one, does your partner it's, you brought your partner on for a technical background. Does he actually have the expertise to like to play the role of technical partner in the way that you want?
No.
Okay. All right. So that's one thing that was coming in because it feels all right. The second thing here is when you talk about dangling carrot, stick, and all that stuff there, that makes me ask myself, like, is this person actually showing up as a partner or not? And as you would define it, maybe we take a step back here and we start to define what does partnership mean to you? Like, if you had a true partner, someone that you would look at this and say, like, I'm great. What would a true partnership look like for you?
It's a great question. I thought about it many times, and I'll explain my definition of this.
Yes.
If we're in a foxhole together, you have my right side, I'm on the left side. I never, ever, ever have to worry about my right side. You got it. I never have to check in. I never have to ask a question. I don't have to worry about it. You're an extension of me, but you got that side. Same thing. I got the other side. And you never have to question it. I will be in high integrity. I will be proactive, and I will be accountable for my actions. And I got your back. And that's what I'm looking for from my partner. A lot of aspects exist there, especially on a personal level. Great human being. We get along wonderfully. But from a business standpoint, I'm not sure that I'm not sure there's congruent alignment on that foxhole analogy that I just used.
Yeah, because it feels right now you're in it. You're in the foxhole right now, and you're like, I'm looking over my right, and I'm like, I'm feeling things coming over, and I have to keep looking over. I'm like, hey, can you let me know that this is coming? Like, I can handle
Exactly.
it if you let me brace myself for it.
Exactly.
What's the courageous conversation you're not having yet?
What's the what?
What's the courageous conversation you're not having yet? Not with me.
With myself?
It could be with yourself. It could be with your partner. What's the one that would actually require courage for you to have?
I'm not sure there's any conversation that I am not having or I don't have the courage to have.
Okay.
I mean, I've had every single type of conversation that I can think of without pulling any punches.
Yeah.
Maybe now that I'm sort of thinking about it, maybe it's that whole employee employer analogy. I would ask my partner, like we do a 360 assessment of each other. And one of the things that I asked is like, I'll go first. Where can I improve? So tell me everything you think I can improve. And he's like, you're great. There's nowhere to improve. I'm like, I don't believe for a minute. I know that there's tons of things I can improve. And I gave him a list, on his end. So
He's on his end. Yeah, you're like I'm
I wasn't holding
delivering.
that back. So this leads me to question that whole transparency. Obviously, everybody can improve, and I know this within myself. I'm all about personal development. So when you're telling me I'm great, nobody's perfect.
Yep. So this is there's a as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about different frameworks and such as this is coming along, but what's coming for me is the element of like, what's the different conversation? Because I can almost imagine that you've been having a variation of the same conversation for however long this has come up. You
Years.
know, yeah, for years. All right, cool. And so that's why I asked about what's the courageous conversation, because I'm like I get that you're straightforward. There's things here. I'm looking at this and asking myself, like, you're a great communicator. You're clear in what you say. You're open in what it is that's there, and you know why you're doing what you're doing. So there's a part of me that's looking at this and saying, like, what's the I'm listening to this and hearing a breakdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm finding myself wanting to solution, and of course, I know that there's multiple like layers behind everything in here, so I'm trying to step out of the solution in here. And I'm listening to this is like the question I'm asking myself, Len, is what's the thing that Len would like that's right available for Len that isn't that doesn't look like a door because it's almost too close to home. So I'm trying to see if there's a way that we can expose that in here. We may not. And I'm like, there's something there. What do you make of it? What are you taking so far?
I think that I never had a conversation with him when you go back to courageous conversation.
Yeah.
If you were in, I would ask this question maybe, and I just thought of it now.
Yeah.
If you were an employee of a company, you're an executive, what would you do? Would you give yourself a bonus? Would you reward yourself? How would you treat you as an employee of a company? And I would ask myself that same question.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help somebody take accountability. And I don't know, but I can try it.
There's something that comes up as you're talking. Are you familiar with Alex Ramosi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, he's someone I follow right now. So like, I'm not sure how where this will land, but I'm going to bring it in. He talked about like the partnerships and equity and such, and he used a couple different lenses through it, right? Where he talked about basically it had four different components to it. I would have to go look it up right now. So if I can find it, I'll come back. But I see you smiling. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Oh,
In
go
this?
ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So I might have to go like look it up, but it wasn't like equity is just equity. It's like with equity, you get like there's like cast on the exit. There's decision making power. There's these two other components. I have to go back and find
Yeah.
it, Len. But once I do, I'll send it over to you. But as you're talking right now with your partner, I'm curious about like because knowing how important equity has been as one of the carrots, one of the things that you use. Like what's coming to me is I'm like when I heard him say it, I was like, oh, he has a higher level of mastery of what equity is, not just in terms of like the ways to structure it, but in terms of like the role in which it plays. That than I had even realized was available. And the reason I thought about that then was thinking about like this partnership and because I was curious about like, okay, I can imagine the partner level, like there's a lot of equity involved in it, right? And it's like, okay, this is how we're going to be playing it. And I'm wondering in this moment, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, and I don't know if it's for you to answer in this moment, but I'm wondering like of the four different things that were involved with equity, I'd like which parts are actually important to him and then to see like all right like how do you want to construct this such that like you're earning all four of like I gave you all four of the parts and like are we playing in a place where all four of these are at play or not and if like for what you're bringing I could see that being this one and this one or something like that. I have to find a four for it to actually be like a fuller conversation. But I see you thinking what's coming through your mind right now.
Well, I had a conversation about, let's say we have an exit.
Mhm.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do next couple of years? What are your goals? He's a little older than me. And the one time he was like, oh, I want to move. I want to move. I want to get a house on the lake. I want to fish, that kind of thing. Great. So help me help you to get there. My goal is to help you get to your goal. Goals changed. He met somebody, he's going to be moving. So maybe some of those priorities changed. So maybe I have to go and revisit that again to start painting that picture of what does that equity slash exit, like if you were able to cash in that, what would you do? What is your, what's your quote unquote retirement look like? Mm-hmm.
So I hear this, and like Len, if I may, I found the four things. So I'll before we end here today, I'll tell you
Yeah,
the
yeah.
four, right? Um, I'll be real with you, man. When I hear it, it doesn't sound like you're showing up for him as a partner or like in the way that you want a partnership to show. It sounds like you're treating him a bit like an employee, right? In the sense of like you're the one that's motivating him to go look to the right, and trying to find another way to incentivize, another way to incentivize, another way to incentivize. And I feel like a lot of our conversation has come back to like um incentive like all right, well if you have equity then wouldn't that naturally incentivize you, right? Like that was one of the framing that we brought earlier in the conversation. And now that I'm hearing this I'm like he's still working it. Like this is not like This is not like just candidly like not how I would think a partner would show up who's really in this space. And then your response is like, okay, now let's continue moving it. Now, everyone has growth. It's not about people coming in perfectly. It's not that. But when I'm like in the way that we're talking, it feels like you're consistently trying to lift into like, hey, can you be the person I need you to be for this?
Yep.
Versus like, and so I feel a lot of pull or push energy from you, like, hey, I need you to get in there. And just based on everything you're talking about, like what an actual partner is for you, like there's something in there where there's a misalignment, at least from where I'm sitting, based on this conversation in terms of like meeting the expectations of partnership. And I'm going to say it from being a complete outsider, just listening in here. Um, what do you want to do about that? Like, no, I'm not asking you to like make a decision. It's not that. It's just more like with what I just said in here, like what's coming for you on it, like what I'll call something out for me from a transparency standpoint. Like I'm not trying to put anyone in a bad position, Len. I just really want to like I see what you do and I see that I believe in what you're doing and I believe that you like in you and I feel like with the amount that you have in here, like really having someone that has your back on it in whatever for whatever scope is necessary,
Yeah.
right? Because generally speaking, I feel like if you needed to bring on a team to like go and like if you need to bring on a team to serve for someone else to go and do the technical things, like you probably could cover that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once we raise our round or somewhat of a round, we can hire people. But I think you hit the nail on the head. First of all, I do treat him more as an employee than a partner, and those some of the reasons. There's that trust that you got, the right side of the foxhole covered. And what you said, I want to reflect it back to you. This push versus pull. I was in this men's group that did a lot of these crazy hikes in the middle of the night, no lights, but you're trusting the person in front of you, so you following them, and the person in back of you, once you get in a tough position, can push you up. Okay. Now, to me, if you are being lifted, if you're being pulled by something, vision, mission, value, whatever that is, you don't need that push. And you're absolutely correct. I feel we're hiking, and not only are you tethered to me, but I also have to come behind you and give you that lift up. And that's something that's been, an area of frustration for me.
Yeah. This is, like we're gonna start wrapping up this conversation, but I think about
Yeah.
this, Len, and I like the things that go through my mind. I'm like, all right, are there opportunities to go on a type of experience with him like this? Where you get out of the office environment, right? And even to the point of like you not having to be the one to lead him through what his goals are and his dreams are and how that can come through the organization,
Yeah.
but instead like y'all go to a third party and have some kind of experience where the two of you as partners can be facilitated through it,
Yeah.
and to have like yeah, go ahead, you want to say something?
Yeah, we've done that before. We've done business coaching as partners, like same thing as relationship coaching for marriage.
have you
Uh,
have you have you climbed a mountain together yet?
he's got some physical challenges to do
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
we've done retreats, we've done
Okay.
journeys, we shared a room and a bed, and we've
Okay.
done all kinds of different things. So uh, it's good for a minute. So that
Yeah.
happens. We're on. It's the same thing as you did your New Year's resolution.
Yep.
Everybody wants to go to the gym. January, the parking lot's full. February, the parking lot's full. March, a little less full. By the time April, May rolls around, we're back because people, stopped. Same thing. You go to Tony Robbins event, you go to Business Mastery, everybody's gung ho. I'm doing my thing. A month later, you kind of fall off. So that is that employee versus partner mentality, that
Yep.
pull versus push.
Yep. All right. I feel like you got what you need to hear. What's been your biggest insight from today's conversation?
I think that you clearly articulated this notion of high integrity, matching integrity across the board, which is really important to me. It's my values. being proactive and how important it is to be a business owner and an entrepreneur versus I'm working for the business as an employee or whatever you want to call it, for your business versus on your business, and being pulled by the greater good and the mission that we have. So for me, I need to do a better job of making sure that I lead people in that way.
I'm really looking forward to you being met, Len. Like if there was one thing that I would ask of you, right? So like I usually leave my clients with something here. My thing here would be like on your initial threshold of conversation, like raise the bar,
Mm.
raise the bar here. I feel I get the sense that you're consistently lifting things up. You talked about it from a vendor perspective. You talked about it from an employee. Like it feels like and look, you have the highest standard. It's why you're the the owner of the organization. We get that, But I do. There's a real pull in me to be like, all right, I would love for you to be met in whatever people showing up with, like let them meet you there. All right, we're going to
Appreciate it.
wrap this conversation here. Len, thank you. Thank you for playing the game that you're playing. Thank you for being a person on a mission. I'm wishing you all the best with this round and future ones as well. And thanks for just like not holding back here. All right,
Thank you.
Outliers. Until the next time we talk, journey on.